In today's video, I'll be taking you guys on a trip down memory lane. First, the game you're seeing right now is called Duck Game. It's set in the futuristic year of 1984, where ducks actually fight each other in a wild battle for glory. Strange, I know. You have to use a wide variety of weapons to essentially obliterate your opponents, whether you're sat playing at home with a few friends or even online like I did in this video itself. There's a challenge mode, which I haven't played myself just yet, but hopefully we'll get onto it eventually. It also has a level editor where you can actually create custom maps and even custom weapons. I played around with a few of them, but I didn't think personally that they were too good. So it's one of those where you actually have to hunt through the Steam Workshop to see if you can find ones that you will actually like. I did enjoy playing it quite a bit, plus I have plenty of footage for this, so I may even make a funny moments montage of this in the near future. But for now, going back onto the topic of a bit of a nostalgic look through my history in gaming. I'll try to go through a kind of timeline, so we'll start with the PS1, and one of the first games I remember spending countless hours playing would have been Street Fighter X Plus Alpha. It was one of your classic fighting games, and back then I thought the graphics were the best I'd ever seen. The art style took my attention the most, as I hadn't played many games beforehand, and the fact it was in the series of Street Fighter X games, which had all of the 2D fighting game style mixed in with 3D graphics, had definitely caught my attention. Now, one of the characters that I'd say was my favourite would have to be Garuda, who was a boss in the original Street Fighter X, but in the later installments to the series they added him in as a playable character. I think the reason I liked him the most was because of the design and the moveset that he had. He sort of stood out the most to me. Jumping on over to the original Xbox side of things though, this is where I spent most of my time playing. I slowly started to lose interest in the PS1 because there weren't too many games I enjoyed, and my brothers and I were unable to get a PS2 until a few years after we first got an Xbox. One of the many games I spent hours on end playing was Tony Hawk's Underground, and looking back I can see that I did skip a lot of games in that series. It was the fifth one I believe in the Tony Hawk series, but one of the main reasons why I liked Underground so much was because of the focus it had on character customization. Instead of it making you choose between pre-made skaters, which were generally professional ones, it gave you the chance of actually choosing the character you wanted, and instead of being thrown into someone else's shoes, you felt like you were that person. One mission in that game I remember very well was the floor is lava, and you had to do a series of tricks one after the other, get from one point to another obviously, but the thing that made me remember that so well was the fact that instead of it just being when you hit the ground you failed the mission, it actually changed the entire floor to lava. I think at the time I had a bit of a love for having to learn a series of inputs to create a trick or a combo like in Street Fighter, which would be why I had such fond memories of both these games. But soon after playing Tony Hawk's Underground, my parents had bought me and my brothers Need for Speed Underground 2, which is another game with a broad customization ability, although this time it's for cars and not just for your character. The free roam capability coupled with the customization that meant that more endless hours were put into it just racing around customizing cars that I had. But my interest was soon taken over by yet another Need for Speed, which happened to be my personal favourite in the entire series, which was Most Wanted. Again, it was for the free roam customization. This time I spent so many hours in loads of police chases. If I remember correctly, it was those police chases that made me develop a new love for gaming, which was essentially a way to keep people playing, which worked really well. As we move off of Xbox and PlayStation and move on to PC, my gaming premise had become something completely different. Even though I did still play the previous games I mentioned and more, I had found a different kind of love for gaming which I didn't even know about. I know a lot of people probably won't agree with my choice, but it's my personal opinion. They may want to play a different but similar game. But I still spent a good few years playing this and made some great friends who I still talk to today. The game I'm meaning is RuneScape. Yes, this may be controversial, but I loved the game when I was younger. I may still love it now. A lot of people may prefer World of Warcraft or not even like either game. At the time I didn't even know about World of Warcraft, and I was enjoying my time in a different gaming world. Although I never got my account anywhere near the maximum level you could get, I still loved my time playing it, and if I went back to it today I would probably still love it just as much as I used to. Not the newer version, mainly the old school version. Not long after I started to stop playing RuneScape, I got back into console gaming a bit more, and I started to develop yet another love for FPS games. I didn't play much of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the original, or even World at War, because I didn't have my own console until a little while later. My brother let me play on his Xbox from time to time, which allowed me to have a bit of an escape from different aspects of my life. Eventually I got my own 360, which is when I started playing more COD, and I started to get into Halo Reach for a while. I enjoyed playing Black Black Ops and Halo quite a bit, but after a period of time my Xbox decided it didn't want to read any other game than Halo Reach, at which point I had already been playing for a good few months already, but when it decided to only read Halo, I was playing it daily, which eventually led me to want to actually join a clan and see what the whole fuss about clans was. Eventually the clan I was in started to break apart, at which point I decided to get a new Xbox entirely so I could play new games, which didn't exactly go to plan as I started to play a lot more Black Ops 2. I had made a few new friends on COD, which surprised me because I didn't expect to do, and we played many hours of Capture the Flag, and the team I was rolling with was surprisingly good as we would win essentially every game we were in. Shortly after all of that I got back into PC gaming, but this time started playing games like Gmod. I'd also gotten COD on PC as well, but I wasn't as interested in it as I used to be. Eventually I slowly stopped playing games on Steam and slowly moved back into RuneScape for a short while until I heard about DayZ. I did really want to play DayZ to begin with, but I didn't have a machine that was powerful enough for it, so I spent a lot of time watching others play it, and that was enough for me at the time until I heard about DayZ Standalone, and that's where my time disappeared, playing that for hours on end along with CSGO and Gmod. But the memories I made on DayZ Standalone was something else. I didn't mind the fact that I had to run for hours to get somewhere, or that the game was buggy as hell. I loved the experience of just being dropped into a large open world, having the choice to craft my own story however I wanted to play, getting lost in the woodlands after thinking I could take a shortcut somewhere to try and make my journey easier, but the fact I was getting lost in somewhere I thought I knew was one of the many things that made the game fun for me. It taught me that no matter how confident you are in knowing how to get somewhere, there's still a chance that it could go majorly wrong. Not long after playing DayZ, I started playing a variety of different games, many of which I don't remember too well, but eventually I got onto Titanfall 2, and after playing through the campaign I fell in love with that style of game, the different mechanics it had, but how it was also similar to Call of Duty, but how it also still felt easy enough and basic enough to where anyone could pick up the game and still learn how to play with relative ease. Which now leads us to this video, where I'm playing Duck Game with a couple of friends, one of which I would have never known if I wasn't playing Black Ops 2 when I was. I'm also playing games like PUBG and a variety of others, but it's strange how games can bring people from all around the world together and not have distance stop you from making those friendships and keeping them. But that's the power of the internet and the definite power of the love for gaming, which is why I've told you guys this story. I hope I didn't bore you guys to death with this hell of a long story, but I hope it was also worth the listen if you made it this far, and I really do appreciate it if you did. So thanks for watching or even listening, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.